sun tells you about all these storms that occurred that just took out part of the canal. So the flooding we have today is not brand new because of development. It occurred long back into the history and was a problem. So then you needed aqueducts to go across streams and roads. You had bridges. There was all that too, you know, because you had to get across them, and I just wanted to mention that too. All right, real quickly on the locks. You know how it is. They open and shut. So if this is shut and your canal boat comes in at this water, then you shut the one in the back, the water open this one, and then you build your steps going up or down is how the lock works. The wood on those doors was always rotting too. So the upkeep was really, really difficult for them. We talked about locks in the area, and they were all along the way, and you can see the remnants still to this day. Now, there were a lot of buildings along the canals, but not in this part of the township. If you're going to pay big fees to take goods from Middletown somewhere, you don't want to pay the full rate just to take it to Lower Swatara Township, do you? So there was no development between here and really Hummelstown, because they're like the railroad did, you know, they built where the development was where it paid to have people and also to pay for the freight. So this was really a pass-through. It was just, you know, I mean, like going through the pastures and things like that. But a lock keeper controlled the traffic, and you didn't want to tick him off. However, there are stories where the canal lock keeper would sell vegetables and milk to the canal boat operator because they kept a cow, they had a garden, they would have all those things, and they were allowed to keep stores. So they often sold things to the canal boat captains. Many of the farmers said that the canal boat captains were stealing out of their garden and stealing their things like that. They didn't steal the farmer's wife, I don't think, but anyhow, they did take vegetables and things like that. So I won't bore you tonight with all the, but think of it, blacksmiths, leather making things, all the factories. There were these industries in each of these communities that serviced the canal, and they were very, very big. But again, that explains why Middletown, High Spire, Royalton, and Hummelstown grew, and not the area between, because those were both considered ports. So you took your crops and your coal or whatever was to those points, and you put your manufactured goods on from there as well. Any questions on that? I went fast, but I think, yes, sir.
You answered one of my questions earlier, because I was on this quest to see if Charles Dickens ever rode the canal.
Oh, yes.
Through Middletown, and you said the Union Canal had no passengers. So I'm assuming he was on the Pennsylvania.
He was on the Pennsylvania.
And he rode it from Baltimore to Harrisburg.
Yeah, and wrote a book about it.
Right, and that book is just so funny if you ever have a chance to read it, because he talks that when you got on the boat, if you were going to be overnight, which they were, going from like Harrisburg to Pittsburgh, you rode in hammocks. And in order to have a little privacy, all they did was put like a curtain across. And then for breakfast, up on top, they had, it was
boiled meat, potatoes, and just...
But see, that was a whole different canal system.
yeah, and then of course you had the same meal for lunch, you had the same meal for dinner, and if you wanted to freshen up in the morning, they had like a communal bar of soap, a communal towel, and a bucket of water, and when everyone was done, they just threw it overboard. Now, I don't know if they had fresh water in buckets,
I think they probably did.
or they just got it up out of the canal.
Now, if you were on the Union Canal and you wanted to freshen up, you know what you did? You jumped in the water. It was only 4 feet deep, right? A little mushy and the turtles might nab at you, but that's how you took your bath, right? And usually at the dock keeper's house, there was a well to get your water. All right, but your point is well, he did do that canal. All right, we want to go to the demise of the canal. And I just want to make a few things, because I think you have to understand, it was tough keeping that as a business. It was never profitable. You know, they made some money, but it was never consistently profitable. It was always flooding, all right? That didn't help, all right? The weather was seasonal. You know what I mean? You might have an early or late spring or an early or late fall, okay? It was expensive to maintain the staff you needed to do it. And it was a smelly mess. However, and Dustin's going to tell you the real reason the canal failed. I heard it. Who said that?